Video to. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. Alright. Okay, so recorded and presenting my screen. Alright, so hari ni saya nak buat dua test. Test for fluoride. Okay, the first one. And also kalau sempat, determination of melting point. Okay, the first three experiments malam saya skip, saya buat assay of citric acid. So today kita akan buat experiment number 1 and experiment number 3. Okay, so let's get to it. The first one, limit test, what is it? Let me scroll down. Okay, and let me zoom in. Okay, limit test for chloride. So as the name suggests, we are testing the presence of chloride in our samples. So dalam ubat-ubatan ni, the pharmaceutical drugs that that is manufactured, ada certain substance yang mesti, 1 minute. So certain substance, certain chemical compound, certain certain impurities must have a limit before it can be marketed to the public. Okay, because these are drugs that patients eat. So if these impurities, if these chemical substances are digested into the body and that can be collected into your body, dia boleh cause harm. Okay, so contohnya macam heavy metals. Heavy metals kalau kita ada dalam ubat, ubat yang selalu jadi concern for this type of things adalah ubat yang pesakit kronik macam patients diabetes, darah tinggi, so they have to eat ubat every day. So ubat ni kalau ada like minuscule, very little amount of impurities, chemical substances yang berbahaya, dia akan over time dia akan collect. So in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, they can makan every day, so they akan collect, so it could be harmful, poisonous even. So that is dangerous. So therefore we have to set a certain limit baru boleh dia dipasarkan. Okay, contohnya macam very little lah, like 10 microgram per tablet, for example. Kalau macam ubat darah tinggi, hypertension, atenolol. Masa saya buat test dulu as a chemist, the limit was 10 micrograms per 500 milligram tablet. So kalau kita test ubat tu for that heavy metal, dia ada lebih daripada 50 microgram, that tablet has failed the test, tak boleh pasarkan, kena reject. Okay, so these are the same principles, the purpose is the same, limit test for chloride. Maksudnya chloride ni tak boleh lebih than certain amount. Okay, so one of the ways of doing that adalah kita buat this qualitative test. Kita tengok dia punya appearance. Okay, so the objective is to perform and report the limit test for chloride on the given samples. So principle, this test which is mainly used to control chloride impurity. So dalam this substance yang kita nak test, kalau kita pergi makmal ni, saya akan bagi satu sampel ubat yang ada certain amount of chloride, dan satu lagi yang kurang ataupun tak ada langsung amount of chloride. So saya akan bagi multiple samples lah, kamu akan buat test, limit test chloride ni on those samples. So kamu boleh nampak perbezaan antara sampel yang ada banyak chloride, sampel yang ada sedikit chloride, dan sampel yang tak ada langsung chloride. Okay, so kamu nak tengok sampel mana yang ada banyak chloride, tak ada langsung chloride, and ada sedikit chloride. So selalunya chloride impurity ni dia menunjukkan kehadiran inorganic ataupun organic substance, depends upon the simple reaction between silver nitrate dan soluble chloride. So dalam ubat, dalam those drugs, tablets ke, suspension ke, dia ada soluble chloride sejenis ions. Okay, so these ion dia akan bertindak balas dengan satu chemical atau reagent yang kita panggil sebagai silver nitrate. So this silver nitrate akan bertindak balas dengan chloride menghasilkan silver chloride, AgCl. Later saya akan tunjuk video, you will nampaklah everything is in action, all this chemical equation in action. So silver chloride, AgCl ni adalah sejenis garam, garam yang tidak boleh larut, because it is very dense, very heavy. So dia tidak boleh larut di dalam most solvent. 99% of solvent dia tak boleh larut at room temperature. So that's what dekat kat sini, dia akan give insoluble silver chloride in the presence of dilute nitric acid. So dilute nitric acid ni pula adalah digunakan untuk prevent the precipitation of other acid radicals with silver nitrate. So dilute nitric acid ni tujuannya adalah untuk menghalang dari any other acid salts being formed. Okay, so kita nak AgCl saja dihasilkan. We only want silver chloride, AgCl to be formed because kita nak detect the chloride. Okay, kalau kita nak detect the chloride, we need to see it with our naked eye. So we need the salt of silver chloride to be formed. That's why kita tambah silver nitrate, because silver nitrate will react with chloride. Okay, so the insoluble silver chloride, garam silver chloride tu, AgCl yang tak boleh larut tu, dia akan menyebabkan air menjadi keruh. So kalau kita buat test tu, kita nampak air keruh, we know that solution, that tablets, that drugs, that sample yang saya bagi tu mengandungi chloride. Okay, dan yang kalau tak ada menghasilkan any changes, dia masih lagi colorless solution, that means dia tak ada chloride dalam. So that is how we are going to determine whether sesuatu sampel itu, sesuatu bahan itu mengandungi chloride ataupun tidak. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to prepare a standard solution yang mana kita dah tahu berapa banyak chloride yang ada dalam tu. Okay, so when you are doing analytical test, kamu akan nampak banyak perkataan standard solution, reference standard. So dia punya konsep is is easy. A standard is bahan rujukan. Everything has a standard. Kalau kamu bayangkan orang yang cantik, what is the standard is up to you lah. Siapa kamu rasa orang yang cantik? Kamu rasa kalau kamu rasa mak kamu cantik, okay, that is your beauty standard. Okay, is up to you. Kamu rasa siapa yang handsome? You feel like that K-pop star is the most handsomest person. So that is your standard, your rujukan. So kalau kamu nak jadi cantik, you will work toward that standard, toward that goal. So the same concept, the same principle apply to analytical chemistry. When you have a standard solution, that is your reference. Kita nak our sample that we are testing to be the same or almost the same as the standard solution. So in this case, our standard solution is a solution that we already know the amount of chloride. Okay? So kita dah tahu dah berapa kandungan chloride yang ada dalam solution ni. So that makes it our standard. So katakanlah saya prepare in this case, dalam this lab manual, the amount of chloride adalah 25 ppm, 25 parts per million. So very small. Sikit saja parts per million. So we prepare a solution yang mengandungi 25 ppm chloride. So this is our standard. So kalau kita buat test, kita ambil satu tablet, kita hancurkan dia, kita larutkan dia dalam all these solvents, and dan nampak sangat keruh. Lagi keruh daripada chloride standard solution ini. That means our solution contains more chloride than 25 ppm. Okay? So kalau that's the limit lah, kita tak mahu our sample lebih keruh than this is more 25 ppm. So that sample fail the test lah. It contains more than the limit. So this is our limit. That's why nama dia limit test. Our standard solution is the limit for the content of chloride. Okay. In order for you to actually see what I just said just now, saya nak tunjuk satu video. Yes, so this is the video. Hello. Yeah. So these are the apparatus needed. Minimal apparatus, Nestler cylinder dan macam apa nama tabung uji, glass rod untuk mengacau, and satu rack for you to put the apa nama tabung uji. Chemicals required, dilute nitric acid. Penggunaan dia sudah di-explain tadi untuk menghalang any other salt is being formed. Because kita nak silver chloride salt saja dihasilkan. Solution number 2, chemical number 2, silver nitrate. This is what is going to react with the chloride dalam sample, and sodium chloride. This will be used for apa nama as our standard. Saya akan tunjuk dua video. Satu video is animated like this, and the other video is the actual one in the lab. Take a Nestler chloride solution. We put water and we put 1 ml of sodium chloride solution. So that is our standard. And then we put 10 ml into it, 10 ml of nitric acid. Then make up until 50 with distilled water. And then we add 1 ml of silver nitrate solution. Stir immediately and allow to stand for 5 minutes. Leave it alone for 5 minutes. So observe the opalescence. Opalescence is the kekeruhan lah. Tengok jadi keruh tara mana. So put it aside. Kita akan guna this as our standard solution. Nanti bila kita dah prepare a sample solution, kita akan bandingkan kedua-dua kekeruhan. So procedure for the test, this is for our sample solution. So take a 50 ml Nestler cylinder, label dia. So buat benda yang sama juga. Ambil kita punya bahan tu, apa nama, selalu kita perlu timbang 1 gram ke whatever lah, depending on the lab manual. Kemudian kita larutkan dengan the same method as our standard tadi. Okay, so kat sini dissolve specified quantity, so kita kena timbang. Kemudian tambah 10 ml of nitric acid macam standard tadi. Make up to the volume. With the same sample solution. Stir immediately and allow to stand for 5 minutes. Leave it alone for 5 minutes. So observe the opalescence juga. Sama macam standard solution tadi. So observation. So this is what it means to perform a qualitative test. Qualitative test, kita tak like actually measure the results. Kita tak tahu berapa, apa nama, kita tak guna kaedah timbangan untuk apa nama, untuk determine the content of the chloride. Kita tengok the quality of the opalescence, quality of the solution, siapa yang lebih keruh daripada siapa. So for example here, if the opalescence in the test sample is less than the standard, it passes the test. If it is more opalescent than the standard, it fails the test. Okay, dia kata kat sini kalau kekeruhan dalam our sample solution tu lebih keruh daripada standard, dia fail. Okay, because dia mengandungi lebih banyak chloride, lebih daripada limit. The standard is the limit. So kalau lebih keruh, maksudnya ada banyak chloride yang bertindak balas dengan silver nitrate. So lebih banyak silver chloride terhasil compared to the standard. Okay, so in here you see test in the left hand side, the standard solution is on the right hand side. So the sample here complies with the standard. Standard gelap kan, standard solution gelap, dia punya warna dia cerah sikit. So that means the chloride is less than the standard. So kamu punya result is kamu just cakap, okay, the opalescence of the sample is less than the standard, so it passes the test. So prinsipnya macam dalam lab manual lah, it's the same. So the chloride, Cl- ni is the chloride yang ada dalam kita punya sample solution. Bila dia bertindak balas dengan silver nitrate ni yang kita bubuh 1 ml at the end tadi tu. So 1 ml of silver nitrate tu akan bertindak balas dengan Cl-, the chloride ion, and dia akan menghasilkan AgCl, silver chloride. Ag is silver, Cl is chloride. Arrow ke bawah ni menunjukkan mendakan terhasil, garam yang tidak larut terhasil. So this is the thing that causes the opalescence. AgCl adalah benda yang menyebabkan kekeruhan tu. NO3 is nitrate. Okay, so the more kalau sampel tu ada banyak chloride ion, lagi banyaklah AgCl terhasil. So that's why dia jadi sangat-sangat keruh. Kalau sampel itu tidak mengandungi banyak chloride, so sedikit saja AgCl terhasil. So tidak. Kalau tidak ada chloride, langsung tidak akan terhasil. That's why dia jadi clear. Ada orang baru join. So that's it. Kita nak tengok. Okay, so that's the first video, the animated video. Sekarang saya nak tunjuk the actual thing. Macam mana, how do you perform this? So, short video saja, 4 minit. So these are the chemicals: silver nitrate solution, dilute nitric acid, distilled water, and sodium chloride solution. So this is a Nestle cylinder, diletak atas stand. So Nestle cylinder dia label macam ni, dia tidak ada sengkatan, dia bukan measuring cylinder. This is sengkatan kat sini dia tunjuk 25, kat atas ni 50. So kalau you top up with water until 25, that means you have 25 ml of water. If you top up with water until this line here, 50, that means you have 50 ml of solution. Okay, so Nestle cylinder is specifically created for these purposes lah, to buat test like this. So sodium chloride solution is our standard. Kita dah tahu dah. If you cannot see this, it is written here, dia punya content. How many chloride is in this? Just put 1 ml of sodium chloride solution, which is this is our standard, and then dia akan ambil, this is 2 ml or 10, sorry, my bad, this is 10 milliliter of nitric acid, dilute nitric acid. Dilute means cair lah, sangat cair. And then you fill up with water sampai 50 milliliter. So then you just stir with the rod and then you observe the opalescence. Ada tak kekeruhan yang terhasil? Oh sorry, belum campur lagi silver nitrate. After you campur silver nitrate, baru kekeruhan akan terhasil. So as you can see here, bila dia masuk je, dia bubur je silver nitrate, you can see dia jadi keruh. So that means the chloride ion in the solution bertindak balas with silver nitrate, menghasilkan silver chloride. So you stir until all the reaction is complete. Tengoklah, dia tengok banyak mana ada chloride dalam tu. So this is our test solution. Take 1 ml juga, and then dilute the same amount of and then so as you can see, they guna everything, they measure everything guna pipette. 1 ml ke 10 ml ke, nak top up sampai 50 ml pun dia guna pipette proper. And then 1 ml of silver nitrate. And then you stir. And then you bandingkan after dah selesai. So as you can see here, the standard solution di belah kanan sangat-sangat keruh. Test solution is less keruh. Okay, less opalescent than the standard solution. That means the chloride in the test solution is less. The chloride content in the test solution is less than the one in standard. So dia tidak melebihi limit. So that means this solution passes the test, passes the limit test. Nanti saya akan share this video, tapi the voiceover, the narrator speaks in Hindi, but if you read the lab, maybe saya boleh cari yang English. Okay, the steps is the same as our lab manual. Actually dia cakap campur Hindi and English. So bandingkan the physical appearance. Saya cakap qualitative test. And dalam chapter 1 kamu ingat ada two types of analysis, qualitative test and quantitative test. Quantitative test, that means we are determining the amount, the content. Macam kita buat essay of citric acid semalam. Kita buat test, kita buat titration, and in the end kita cari the amount of citric acid yang ada dalam our sample. Kemudian kita determine lagi the percentage purity. That is an example of quantitative test. Kita determine the quantity. And in this limit test, kita tak determine the quantity, kita hanya tengok the quality of the opalescence, the kekeruhan of our test solution. Kita tahu our standard solution contains 25 ppm, okay? And bila kita buat test ni, kita bandingkan dia punya, kita tahu our test solution ni contains less than 25, but we do not know exactly how much. Okay, kita hanya tahu it contains less than 25 ppm. Itu pun sudah cukup untuk passes the test. So that is an example of qualitative test. We observe the quality of the test solution. Okay, so let me buka balik the lab manual. So this is the procedure, the same step macam dalam video kamu tengok tadi. And then observation, tengok siapa yang lebih opalescent. So kat sini dia cakap opalescence produced by more. So kalau dalam makmal saya akan ambil 3 chloride daripada standard. Satu sampel lagi ada kurang chloride daripada standard solution. Dan satu lagi tidak ada chloride langsung. So it contains less. So kamu akan buat 3. You will have 3 observations lah if we are performing this in the lab. Saya akan bagi 3 sampel. Tapi right now we cannot. Saya akan bagi assessment quiz macam semalam. Essay titration semalam. Okay, so the results, the given sample passes the test kalau opalescence of the test solution is less. Kalau lebih keruh, if the given sample fails the test, that means dia sangat-sangat keruh when compared to our standard solution. That's it, itu sahaja. So certain ubat yang mengandungi chloride yang kita nak determine the limit of chloride, kita boleh perform this test. Banyaklah, saya pun tak kerap sangat, but every other week, selang seminggu, selang 2 minggu kena buat test this. Saya kerja dulu as a chemist. Okay, so that's it for limit test. Sekarang saya nak go to determination of melting point. So this is another example of qualitative test. Mana? Skip. Okay, pendek saja. So the examples dari dalam bahasa. Nominal. Okay, where was I? Determination of melting point. So selalunya test untuk melting point ni, the purpose is we do it to identify the sample. Selalunya when I was working at a lab, dulu. The production department after dia dah proses, dia dah buat ubat tu, dah jadi sebiji tablet. Asalnya daripada raw materials, all the coating agent, bonding agent, dia campur, dia mix everything with the API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. Kemudian dia compress, dia pack dalam blister cantik-cantik, dia akan hantar kepada QC lab. That's where I work dulu. Okay, so the first thing that we do when we receive samples from production department, we need to identify the sample. Walaupun dia dah label, this is, walaupun dia dah label, this is, for example, this is glibenclamide tablets. But we at the QC lab must do assessment ourselves. We must test ourselves whether that is glibenclamide or not. This is to eliminate any risk of error. Dekat raw material, dekat could be made in the production department. So to detect that error early on, before kita dah buat test everything, dah nak market dah jual dah, something is wrong. So we do this test, the first thing dulu. Okay, so we can receive that sample, that tablets from production department. One of the tests that we could do to identify the active ingredient, the API, adalah melting point. So the melting point of all API are listed in pharmacopoeias. So kalau kamu kerja dalam makmal pharmaceutical lab, a good lab should have like multiple pharmacopoeias. There are British pharmacopoeia, US pharmacopoeia, Japanese pharmacopoeia, Euro pharmacopoeia. So within all these pharmacopoeias will be listed lah all the drugs yang didaftarkan di negara-negara berikut. So kalau drugs tu dibuat di US, all the details of the drugs that is licensed, registered in the US, semua dia punya details, cara nak buat, dia punya physical properties, chemical properties, cara nak test, semua will be listed in the pharmacopoeia, in the USP. Kalau ubat tu didaftarkan di Britain, so all the details will be listed in the British Pharmacopoeia, BP. Kalau ubat tu didaftarkan di Japan, Japanese pharmacopoeia, JP. Analysis lab, if you want to have a good analysis lab, you should have multiple pharmacopoeias. You have to buy it, purchase it. It's very expensive, beratus ringgit. So that's why lab-lab yang kecil-kecil ini dia tak boleh ada banyak pharmacopoeia. Okay, but to have like options, kalau macam contohnya ubat di US dia test cara ni, tapi lab kita tak ada chemical ni yang disuggest oleh US Pharmacopoeia, so kita refer pula BP. Okay, BP ada cara lain, kita boleh follow BP. So that's the advantage of having multiple pharmacopoeia. So kita boleh ada banyak option, kaedah untuk test satu jenis ubat. Okay, so that's a side note. Melting point. So melting point of every active ingredient is somewhat different. So for example, kalau paracetamol, you can just Google paracetamol melting. You don't need pharmacopoeia pun for this, because paracetamol is a generic substance. 169 darjah Celsius. So we know paracetamol punya melting point is 169 degrees Celsius. So kalau saya dapat sampel Panadol daripada production department, saya nak confirm adakah ini Panadol. So saya tahu the active ingredient of Panadol is paracetamol. Saya buka pharmacopoeia atau saya Google sini, saya tahu the melting point is okay. How do you perform this video here? Just 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. So we need a capillary tube, macam dia pegang ni, very halus, kaca. That is, so kalau kita ada tablet, kita perlu hancur. We need to grind the tablets first, hancurkan dia jadi halus, macam ni. Kemudian ambil the capillary tube, masukkan the powder of the tablet dalam capillary tube, just like this. And then Bila dah masukkan our tablet, powder tablet ke dalam that capillary tube, kita akan masukkan this capillary tube into a melting point apparatus, which is here. Kemudian naikkan temperature. Okay, so dia cakap kat sini, bagi dia naik slowly. Bagi temperature naik slowly. This not allowed untuk control the speed, the rate of the temperature naik. So jangan, dia cakap tadi, jangan buka full. Nanti panas sangat. Macam kamu masak lah, kalau kamu buka api besar-besar, bila kamu masak, hangit. Tak ada nak tengok pun, tak ada nak tumis bawang lagi, dah tak ada nak masuk all the kicap, sambal, sos semua dah hangit dah bawang-bawang. So he see the magnifying glass where you put the capillary tube yang mengandungi our sample tadi tu, you can observe the sample here. So when you put your so kamu boleh nampak lah bila dah start melt, kamu tengok the temperature. And then when it's melted completely, dah jadi betul-betul liquid, colorless solution like this, you record the temperature that it dan dia cair completely. That's it, itu sahaja. So the recorded temperature is the melting point. So kalau saya buat Panadol tadi, paracetamol, kalau saya nak determine the melting point of paracetamol tadi, kalau saya panaskan dia at 169 degrees Celsius, dia dah cair completely. All the powder dah jadi liquid. So that means, saya tengok temperature is 169. So that means sampel yang saya hancurkan tadi tu, yang jadi powder tu, saya masukkan ke capillary tube tu adalah dia mengandungi paracetamol. So saya boleh buat conclusion, the samples that is given by the production department, the tablets that was given to me adalah betul Panadol tablets. So that is the purpose, one of the purpose of melting point test. So if you look into the lab manual, the purpose is to identify unknown compound and to check compound tu is made up of ingredient yang betul, the amount of active ingredient yang betul, maksudnya the melting point of the tablet will almost be the same as the melting point of the active ingredient. Okay, kalau lah contohnya macam kita buat melting point test pada Panadol tablet and dia punya melting point is 172. So that means the active ingredient of that tablet, dia punya purity dia, keturunan dia rendah sebab ada bahan-bahan yang lain lagi bercampur within that. Because certain bahan melting point dia lebih tinggi daripada paracetamol API tadi, maybe 172. So that means that content of paracetamol in that tablet is less than it should be, probably. So kita kena perform more tests, okay, assay test to actually determine the amount of paracetamol content. Kita buatlah titration macam kita tengok semalam. Bila kita buat titration, we can actually determine the content, the amount, gram, and juga purity of paracetamol. Kita buka pharmacopoeia, how to perform titration, chemical apa nak guna, how much, what is the molarity of the standard solution. Standard solution apa kita kena pakai, boleh guna sodium hydroxide juga apa. That is all dependent on the pharmacopoeia of that sample. Okay, so the procedure is the same macam dalam video yang kamu tengok tadi. The melting point of the unknown sample. So kalau multiple sample juga selalunya 3. Saya akan bagi Panadol tablet, saya akan bagi like other substance, other chemical, powder chemical yang ada dalam store dekat mama tu. And satu lagi saya akan bagi like garam ataupun gula, just untuk kamu tengok perbezaan. Ya, so kamu beritahu lah unknown sample A berapa dia punya melting point, unknown sample B berapa dia punya melting point. Kemudian saya akan bagilah tahu, okay, you were given Panadol tablet garam, and contohnya one other thing is citric acid powder. So saya beritahu paracetamol dia punya melting point is 169, sugar dia punya melting point is saya put 80 degrees Celsius, and citric acid is 200 degrees Celsius. Kemudian kamu kena mix and match lah. Unknown sample A is paracetamol, unknown sample B is sugar, unknown sample C is citric acid. So that is how we would do it in a lab. Okay, we will test multiple samples. Okay, so that's it, the two tests. Do you have any questions? So untuk apa nama, for the assessment, akan ada dua assessment lah, because kita buat dua test. So kalau kamu tengok yang essay titration semalam, 5 soalan about the videos that you watch and about, so in order for you to answer the questions, you need to remember the videos yang saya tunjuk. That's why saya share dekat dalam group so that you can watch again, and also you have to read the. So after today akan ada dua assessment. Saya senaraikan compile dekat dalam Google Classroom, tajuknya bawah apa nama C11 lab class tu. Saya ada kat sini. DPH C11 online lab class assessment. So baru semalam ada essay of citric acid. So today, later today saya akan tambah melting point and also limit test 2 more. So due date is at the end of the semester lah. Okay, kamu ada masa sampai at the end of the semester, because after that saya kena compile and tabulate all your marks for your grade. So make sure complete everything by the end of the September. Okay, so this is your, by the way, this is your attendance. If you can see the screen right now, it is automatically recorded once you join. So saya nampak kat sini ada 22 of you join. Tapi saya nampak list kat sini ada 26, 27 lah termasuk saya. Kenapa 22 saja? Later I check, kalau nama kamu tak ada. Saya akan post the okay, so for today, ada soalan tak?
Tak ada sir, thank you.
Okay. Kalau tak ada, that's it for today. Thank you for joining.